Shalom. First and foremost, and give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to you sincere laborers out there, you sincere Akim, pushing its truth throughout the four corners of the earth. Alright, spreading the gospel, the good news. Alright, and I just want to get into some quick updates concerning World War III. Alright, some news articles went out about how, during the 2016 election, which was about, not too far, maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, or whatever. It says Trump admits to Russian hacking even as he attacks U.S. intelligence community. So they brought up some propaganda saying that the Russians hacked into the U.S. election system. Okay. And with that being said, you got these elites pushing towards that World War III, all right, provoking war with Russia, all right, and really that's all prophecy, okay, because the prophecy pretty much is America is supposed to be destroyed, and it's going to be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear missiles, all right, and I'm just reading to a little article how to show you how, man, that they're pushing for this war, man. All right. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is bringing this thing to an end. All right. He's putting the bow, he's putting the icing on the cake, so to say. All right, I'm going to read a little bit of this article. All right. It says, New York President-elect Donald Trump. By the way, this article was posted January 11, 2017. 10:17 p.m. All right. It says New York President-elect Donald Trump acknowledged for the first time here Wednesday that Russia was responsible for hacking the Democratic Party during last year's election. But he denied that the leaks were intended to boost him and argued that Moscow would cease cyber attacks on the United States once he is sworn in. All right. And he says, as far as hacking, I think it was Russia, Trump said. Hacking's bad and it shouldn't be done. But look at the things that were hacked. Look at what was learned from that hacking. Alright, so, and if, you hack into another country's elections or power grid, so to say, or anything of that nature, that's an act of war. Alright? But we all know that Russia had nothing to do with this because they can't even produce the evidence, so to say, or reveal the evidence to show the people, how do they come up with these assumptions, or how do they come up with this decree, so to say. All right. But with that being said, this is all prophecy. All right. You get this World War III started. All right. The war to end all wars. All right. And this is another article about the repercussions, so to say, for Russia. All right, which is going to do, all this is going to do is pretty much promote more aggression from Russia, further push Russia to attacking this place, all right, and destroying it. Okay? Because once you put sanctions on another country, that destroys them, all right? And this is not going to do nothing but Russia's is going to furthermore destroy the dollar bill as they're doing, all right? And, if you mess with Russia, you mess with his allies as well. So you got China, Iran, Turkey. Turkey is moving closer to Russia as well, all right? This division amongst these countries is getting more and more, vivid, so to say. All right, this is another article. It says senators introduce sweeping Russia sanctions in response to hacks. This was posted January 10th, 2017. All right. CBSnews.com. All right. It says, where do I want to start? It says new sanctions legislation targeting Russia over its alleged meddling in the 2016 presidential election on Tuesday. We are filing a comprehensive bill that provides additional sanctions against the Russian Federation for its activities against U.S. interests, said Senator Ben Cardin at the Capitol Hill press conference, "We have been attacked by Russia. That is no longer subject to any debate." All right. And in response to the hacking of the DNC and the Clinton campaign, the legislations entitled that Countering Russian Hostilities Act of 2017 would impose mandatory visa bans and asset freezes on Russian involved in hacking. All right, on the Russians involved in hacking. So they, freezing the visa cards. Okay. It also mandates sanctions on transactions with Russian defense intelligence sectors. The Obama administration recent executive orders targeting Russia would also be codified. All right. We have to respond to Vladimir Putin's behavior, Senator John McCain declared at the press conference, which included 5 other senators. If we don't, he will continue unchecked. All right. The scope of the proposed legislation goes further than a response to Russian meddling in the U.S. election. It calls for harsh, punitive measures which target Russia's energy, and natural gas sectors in response to Russian aggression in Ukraine and Syria. All right, so they're going to hinder them from, their production of energy, so to say. All right, and natural gas. It says those measures mandate sanctions against investments of 20 million or more Russians' ability to develop its petroleum and natural gas resources. All right, so that's an assault right there, man. All right, the Russia economy is based off majority. I say about 67 to 70% of its economy is based off of its petroleum production of natural gas. All right. It says, according to a fact sheet provided by Senate staff. So, they're going to hinder them from, they're pretty much going to try to destroy Russia's economy. All right. It also would impose sanctions on investments on Russian state-owned assets and the sales of its sovereign debt. President Obama responded to the cyber attack that was what he should have done. We believe we can go further, said Cardin. All right, so they're promoting this war. All right. So with that being said, they're promoting a war, which is a war that's going to get them destroyed. Because if you do some research, all right, the U.S. defense system is flawed and fluked. All right, they cannot protect themselves from a Russian missile, let alone even a North Korean missile. All right. It says, this is another article. It says, and this was posted March 20th, 2015. The U.S. has no defense against a Russian nuclear attack, really. Okay. The Obama administration is proposing that the United States spend about $1 billion per week in a fiscal year beginning October 1st to defend Afghanistan, Iraq, and other nations against various threats they face. That's how much money is the Pentagon requests for overseas contingencies operations. So guess how much money the administration is seeking to defend America's homeland against an attack from Russia using nuclear-armed ballistic missiles. It says, so guess how much money they using to invest in that. It says Russia has about 1,600 missile warheads capable of reaching U.S. territory. And if even a small fraction were launched, they could wipe out our electric grid, our financial networks, and quite possibly the whole U.S. economy. Okay? And this article was posted 2015. Now you see how they line everything up just beautifully, all right? Okay, Russia is hacking the elections, all right? Okay, with that being said, hacking that's electronic, all right? Now it says it could wipe out the electric grid. So, they're setting the stage for some type of electric grid attack, all right? It says the answer is that the administration is proposing to spend nothing. Okay, so they're proposing to spend nothing against against a defense system against Russia or any other country. All right. So they spread the military thin all throughout the world, but yet, and this is where the point I'm leading to. All right. But yet they have no defense for their own country in itself. All right. No defense for their own country in itself. It says, even though we know that most of the Russian warheads are pointed at America, even though we know relations with Russia are deteriorating, even though we know that Vladimir Putin's subordinates have repeatedly threatened West with nuclear consequences if it seeks to block expansionist moves along the Russian, territory, such as last year's invasion of Ukraine. Okay. And that's pretty much it. It says Russia has that power because America has no defense against long-range ballistic missiles. Okay, and that's it. That's it on this article. Well, we'll not leave the description, the links to these articles in the description. But it says Russia. Just the main point right here. It says oh, there's some good stuff right here. Let me get this out. It says it wasn't supposed to be this way. Great nations have always defended themselves against the most pressing threats to their survival. So when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik in 1957, that was the first satellite, okay? In the process of demonstrating the ability to build long-range rockets, U.S. policymakers immediately began efforts to construct defense against a missile attack. But Russia kept adding to its arsenal until by the 1970s, it had 40,000 nuclear warheads of all types of sizes. By that time, Washington had given up its defense and was trying to slow the arms race. All right. So, with that being said, during the time of the Cold War, Russia was stocking up on nuclear missiles. All right. So with that being said, this is, like I said, let me get back to the point. It says Russia has that power because America has no defense against long-range ballistic missiles. And that goes into this precept that I wanted to bring out and focus this lesson pretty much on this World War III update. All right, America is going to be completely obliterated. Okay, and that's going to be the end of the so-called white man's system, its power structure. All right, that's it. Okay, so live it up. All right, you're scoffing and you're scorning. Don't do anything, you apologetic Edomites. All right, you're gonna be apologizing in that day. Okay, but it's gonna be too late for you. All right, so you can keep scoffing, keep making BHI terrorist attacks, but why you scoffing and making these false accounts and making these false accusations? All right, these prophecies are coming to pass. Okay, this is you brothers familiar with Ezekiel 38 concerning Russia, Gog and Magog, but I'm gonna get straight to the point here. All right, verse 10. Ezekiel 38 verse 10. Thus said the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind. Okay, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Talking about the Russians. You can specifically pinpoint that at Vladimir Putin. All right, it says, but he shall think an evil thought. Okay, because remember, the Lord works on the minds of the people. All right, so the Lord gonna put an evil thought in the head of the Russians to destroy America. All right, which is going to be easy to do now because America and Russia are already at war, so to say. Okay, verse 11, Ezekiel 38 verse 11, the main point. It says, thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. All right, and in the ancient times, to protect your castle, so to say, or your village, you would build walls around it, and that would be the protection from the enemy. All right, giant walls, tall walls. All right, and that would be your protection. So modern day wall today, okay, which will be a nuclear defense system. All right, that'll be a protection. All right, because it will protect you from the enemy from shooting missiles from one end of the world to another, intercontinental ballistic missiles. But what? As we found out, the U.S. cannot protect itself from any of these threats. All right. And I read another article that it can be overwhelmed by decoys. All right, because they're heat censored. Okay, so with that being said, they can have flares that come out of the nuclear missiles and overwhelm it, and they don't know what target to come at, so it'll end up hitting the flare and not the actual missile in itself. All right, so it can be overwhelmed and tricked, so to say. verse Ezekiel 38 verse 11. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest. And everybody here at rest in America, all right? They're at rest while everybody else is suffering. What? Due to the acts of America, all right? America is like a leech. It's like a parasite consuming its host. And the host is all the people around about it. That's why the scriptures say the nations were mad, all right? He says, I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, quote unquote, all right? Because you don't got other countries building up on their borders, all right? You don't see Russia and Mexico or Russia over there in Canada, all right, building up on the coast of America, on the shores of America. But what? Yet and still you got America and all these other countries surrounding all these other countries on their borders, all right? But over here you don't have that. So that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, okay? This is a nation not protected, okay? A nation with its army spread thin around the world, but no protection at home. It says, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take prey, to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. All right, and I'm going to stop there, but the main point is Ezekiel 38 verse 11. All right, America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles, and the time is at hand. You brothers, stay diligent, Salakia. And you ones that's listening, wake up, all right? Because the gates of the doors of repentance are closing, all right? Work the spirit, all right? Be diligent. From the, you heard the order from on top. It says the year of death, destruction, and diligence, all right? So give diligence to make that call and election sure. All right. Push. Push to the end, man. He that endures to the end shall be saved. Then I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That wants the elder apostle read millstone. Salutations to you sincere laborers out there pushing his truth. Shalom.